Let's dive right into this explainer. If you're on a modern security team, you know the absolute nightmare of alert fatigue. We're talking endless pings, totally scattered asset lists, and just this raw data chaos that makes it basically impossible to know what's actually an emergency. It's just a constant barrage of noise. So today, we're going to unpack how the REI platform, developed by Cyberzones, steps in to completely transform that overwhelming chaos into structured, actionable security intelligence. So here is our roadmap for today. We're going to tackle the raw data problem, map out your attack surface, dive into context-aware risk classification, explore the AI cyber translator, and wrap up with absolute total data sovereignty.
All right, part one, the raw data problem, basically drowning in alerts.
We all know the universal pain point here, right? Security teams are just completely overwhelmed by unclassified alerts. It leads straight to burnout and, worse, missing critical threats. Think about it. You've got thousands of open ports, endless logs, and disorganized data. It literally feels like searching for a needle in a haystack, except the haystack is actively on fire. But the REI platform uses this incredibly smart hexagonal intelligence engine that acts like a massive filtration system. It takes all of that chaotic, raw technical noise and systematically transforms it into structured, prioritized intelligence. It's a real game changer for how a team approaches their morning triage. The big takeaway here is the massive leap from just basic scanning to actual intelligence. You know, a traditional scanner is kind of like a mindless alarm system. It just hands you a massive list of open doors and unlocked gates and basically says, good luck checking all those. That's just more work. Risk exposure intelligence fundamentally changes that. It evaluates the true probability of an attacker actually walking through a specific door and explains the exact nature of the risk if they do. It factors in real-world threat intelligence, telling you exactly what matters right now so you can put your resources where they actually count. Moving on to part two, mapping your attack surface, internal, external, and beyond. To build a solid defense, we have to remember that attackers look absolutely everywhere. They don't respect your perimeters. That's why REI monitors multiple distinct zones. First, the external attack surface. Think forgotten developer servers exposed to the open internet. Then the internal attack surface, catching those hidden network misconfigurations that let attackers move laterally once they're inside. And finally, it relentlessly monitors targeted entry points, like VPN gateways, that get hammered by advanced threat actors every single day. Because at the end of the day, you simply cannot protect what you can't see. But it goes way deeper than just the surface level. It does a rigorous infrastructure and cryptographic analysis. It's actually digging into your tech stack to find emerging vulnerabilities in your web servers and applications. And crucially, it's doing deep TLS security validation. It's automatically checking certificate authorities, expiration dates, and HTTPS integrity. It leaves no stone unturned, making absolutely sure your supposedly secure communications aren't secretly hiding outdated cipher suites that could lead to data interception.
Part three, context-aware risk classification, finding the true threat.
Now, what do we do with all this data? We have to separate the routine daily noise from the immediate, business-ending threats. Think of it like a giant intelligent funnel. At the very top, REI automatically strips out that bulky layer of low and medium risk noise. You know, those routine configuration alerts that usually eat up hours of your team's time. It funnels everything down until it isolates the sharp, critical threats at the very bottom. And what makes them critical is the actual prevalence of that exact vulnerability being exploited in the wild right now. It pinpoints the exact needle in the haystack, pointing your incident response team exactly where they need to look the second they sit down. All right, part four, the AI cyber translator bridging the communication gap. This is where things get really cool. It completely transforms deep technical jargon into clear executive-level language. Think of the embedded AI assistant as your bilingual expert. If the raw data says TCP port 3389 is open, a non-technical executive has no idea what that means. It's just numbers. But the AI processes that and instantly says, hey, remote desktop protocol is exposed. Plus, it adds context, like the fact that ransomware syndicates actively target this, and gives exact remediation steps, like closing the port immediately. Suddenly, everyone from your frontline network engineer to your CISO is speaking the exact same language. When you stack this up against legacy tools, there's really no competition. Traditional tools make your team do all the heavy lifting, manually researching vulnerabilities, spending hours building static spreadsheets for executives. It is an exhausting process. But REI's multi-layered AI does all that analytical grunt work automatically. It's dynamically tracking how your risk evolves and generating automated executive reports. Essentially, it gives your team their weekends back and ensures leadership is always perfectly informed. Finally, Part 5, Absolute Total Data Sovereignty, Keeping Your Data Yours. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room here. You're building a massive, comprehensive blueprint of your own weaknesses. Where does all that incredibly sensitive intelligence actually live? For a lot of organizations, sending that to a third-party cloud is just a massive no way. And that's exactly why this entire platform is architected from the ground up for local, on-premise deployment. It acts as an impenetrable local vault. Everything stays 100% under your control, fully air-gapped if you need it to be. You get all the cutting-edge AI without compromising your data sovereignty. To wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final thought to really challenge how you're dealing with alert fatigue right now. Ask yourself, are you just scanning your network, or are you actually understanding it? Because having a massive list of open doors is completely useless if you don't know which ones represent a true immediate threat. It might be time to elevate your posture with proactive intelligence. Thanks so much for joining me today.